Well, hello and welcome to Bingewatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And Merry Christmas to you too, Hannah.
Ho, ho, ho.
I'm Ian McEwan, writer on TV Times, TV and Satellite Week and What's on TV magazines, Christmas issues in the shops now. And today, we're looking at the new releases for the Christmas fortnight, starting Friday the 22nd of December 2023, including the Now TV Christmas caper, The Heist Before Christmas, starring Timothy Spall and James Nesbitt, and Toby Jones in ITVX's real-life drama, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
And we'll also be checking out Sheridan Smith in the new series The Castaways on Paramount Plus and catching up with Lorna Watson's sister Boniface for one-off Christmas whodunit, the star of the Orient on UKTV Play. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
Michael Sheen will play Prince Andrew alongside Ruth Wilson as broadcaster Emily Maitlis in Prime Video's three-part drama A Very Royal Scandal about that interview. What else in the news, Hannah? I
do believe it was Pizza Express Woking that was caught up in the scandal. Because, of course, he doesn't sweat. Anyway, moving on. And The Gentleman, a Netflix spin-off from Guy Ritchie's 2019 film, will star Theo James as a man who clashes with gangsters after inheriting a cannabis farm, as you do.
We've all been there. We're finally here at the double Christmas Binge Watch podcast. We're going to start off with a feature-length comedy drama. It arrives on Christmas Eve on Sky Max and Now TV. It's called The Heist Before Christmas. And here's a clip.
You know, when you were saying earlier about Christmas, were you saying there's no Santa? It's really you.
Yes, it's really me. What is this?
You're the man on the news. He stole 80 grand.
You are a disgrace to that uniform.
Christmas can be difficult for some people.
If you can't get him a bike, I'll get him a bike.
Now, frequently, Hannah, at Christmas, I get the feeling that it's the same old stuff. Doctor Who, Call the Midwife, Strictly Christmas Special, and many of them, of course, recorded in the summer. But this is something new and something very good, I have to say. I really enjoyed this. It stars, as I said, Jimmy Nesbitt from Cold Feet, Timothy Spall, well, all those years ago, Auf Wiedersehen Pet, but many a thing since then. They're both playing Santa in this. It's a rather lovely festive fable. It's set in Belfast. Of course, Jimmy is a native of Northern Ireland. And it reflects the sort of cost of living crisis, really, because it's about this hard-up single mum and her two young sons. So there's Mikey, played by Bamba Todd. He's the older brother. He's always getting in trouble. And his younger sibling, Sean, played by Joshua McLeese. He's a rather wide-eyed lad, still believes in Santa. Anyway, the family are very cash-strapped. The two boys, I won't give too much away, but they end up in the woods near where they live, where they meet these two very different Santas. One of them, played by James Nesbitt, has just robbed a bank. He's got a bag full of cash. And the other one, played by Tim Spall, well, he says he's the real Santa, and he's fallen out of his sleigh while delivering presents to all the children. Anyway, they go on this great adventure. It's action-packed. It's very funny. It's also got that element of sort of social realism in that it is about hard-up families at Christmas. And the young lads are great. Spall and Nesbitt are in great form, especially Nesbitt gets to do a lot of physical comedy. And you forget, because he does a lot of sort of quite heavy crime dramas these days, but you forget he's a brilliant comic actor, and he's very, very funny in this. I thought it was a really fresh and original Christmas tale. You'll be feeling kind of all the emotions. It's exciting, it's sad, it's funny, it's heartwarming, but it's not saccharine like so many Christmas things are. And I think I think this is one of the best things on this Christmas, and I think it will go on to become a perennial Christmas. It's almost got a slight Home Alone element to it. Some of the kind of physical stuff that goes on with the kids and the bad Santa. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I was lucky enough to have a chat with Jimmy Nesbitt about it on Zoom. Of course, everything's on Zoom these days. So I would give this the double Christmas binge watch thumbs up. What did you think, Hannah?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It seems like it's been a while since we've had a film that, as you say, will become like a perennial favourite. And I did wonder about Candy Cane Lane, actually. I wonder whether that will, because it's just a happy sort of, well, again, it sort of dips into the kind of, losing his job, although he lives in a massive house. So that's not, Anyway, I'm digressing. However, this, I think, does have real kind of a real storyline. It does have that Home Alone feel, actually. You're absolutely right. And I quite like that the bad Santa, it has actually quite menacing moments, and you kind of see that in Home Alone as well, don't you? So I know exactly what you mean. I think that it offers something a bit different to the usual kind of Christmas soppiness that we often get fed. And I don't know, will good come out on top? I do hope so.
Our next offering, although it's not Christmassy, I guess it is that time of year where you start thumbing through the old holiday brochures. Are they still a thing? I don't know. It's a new series on Paramount Plus. It arrives on Boxing Day. It's called The Castaways, and here's a clip.
The plane's about to leave. Where the hell are you?
Are you traveling alone?
My sister is supposed to be here.
The plane vanishes into vapor. There isn't a single sighting. My sister's alive. I can feel it.
Yeah, so as you say, not particularly Christmassy, but it starts on Boxing Day, and we all know that January is a really big time for people to start looking at holidays and kind of looking forward and leaving the last year behind them. So I suppose it is quite good timing, and it has Sheridan Smith in, and I'm a massive fan of Sheridan Smith. It's really, really, it's a drama. I'm going to say it's really dramatic. It's really dramatic. It's really pacey. It's really exciting. It's exactly what it says on the tin and some. So essentially, Sheridan Smith is she gets on the plane and her sister doesn't, and the plane crashes and they become castaways. And I think that we've all unfortunately been alive when there's been planes that have gone missing into thin air, others that have crashed. And this one, the sister who didn't get on the plane, she just senses that her sister is still alive, and you're suddenly sort of on this island where some of them have survived. It's very difficult. They sort of can't get any mobile phone reception. It's all of that kind of pacey, oh God, you can't just make a call. No, they can't. They've got no reception. What do they do? Just because you've been through the same experience doesn't mean that you're on an island with all nice people either, does it? What's the drama there? And I think that Sheridan just plays this really, really well. Whatever she does, she's a bit chameleon, isn't she? She can just do whatever she turns her hand to, and she's just totally credible in this part. The drama does jump from sort of future from now to past. I don't know. I'm not always a fan of that, but I think it works in this. There's quite a few underwater scenes, which I know Sheridan Smith found really quite hard to do. To be honest with you, I thought it was absolutely excellent. There are 5 episodes, so you can binge watch these. But yeah, there are 5 of them. I really enjoyed it. What do you think, Ian?
I did enjoy it. I do think some of the dialogue is a bit corny from time to time, but it's got Celine Buckins as the sister, and I remember her. She was in Show Trial, and I remember thinking, she is one to watch because she was the absolute standout. And yes, Sheridan Smith, who, like you, I love Sheridan Smith. She's fantastic. She plays her sister. And yeah, as you say, it keeps flipping between then, when they're both supposed to be getting on this plane to go to this island resort. And now when the sister is investigating the disappearance of this plane, what happened? And she's online a lot. There's this group who are always kind of putting theories up online and you know, any new evidence they come across. I kind of wish they hadn't called it the Castaways in a way, because the mystery of what happened to the plane, because wreckage has been found and supposedly it's just crashed and that's it, but there are conspiracy theories surrounding it, is very interesting. And the younger sister comes across this piece of evidence early on. Her sister's bank card has been used, so she thinks, oh, maybe she's still alive, you know. But then there was stuff going on in the sister's life and between the two siblings that's going to come out. So even though it definitely is a bit of a pot boiler, I watched episode 1 and at the end of it, I was like, I cannot wait to find out what has happened to this plane and also what was going on within the family before the plane went missing. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's something a bit different over Christmas as well, which I think we need. There's a lot of Christmassy stuff on. There's a lot of Christmas specials. But yeah, I did enjoy it. And particularly, I think Sheridan Smith elevates it just with her sheer quality. So yeah, something a bit different. Recommended. Well, we're going full Christmassy for our next offering, and this arrived on Drama and UKTV Play on Tuesday the 19th of December. It is Sister Boniface Mysteries, the Star of the Orient. And here's a clip.
To whomsoever shall be the future possessor of this gem, known as the Star of the Orient, it is accursed and stained with the blood and dishonour of everyone who has ever owned it.
I was lucky to speak to the lovely Lorna Watson, who plays Sister Boniface, about this one. For the uninitiated, Sister Boniface Mysteries is a spin-off from Father Brown, which is another light-hearted whodunit about a cleric. So, yes, she plays the crime-solving nun of the title, and they've basically gone full Agatha Christie for this Christmas special. And, you know, what's more traditional at Christmas than an Agatha Christie-style whodunit? We always get one. The Sister Boniface team have put one on, I would say it's not dissimilar to Murder on the Orient Express, deliberately so. So she reluctantly is going to have to leave the convent, go to visit her parents, and she and the local detective, played by Max Brown, are on the train. It gets stuck in the snow. It's a big freeze. It's freezing conditions. On this train, there are various interesting characters and a precious gem that is being transported. Of course, someone somehow breaks into the safe it is being transported in, steals it. There's a murder. Okay, it's going to be a classic kind of locked room style whodunit. So I actually think this is a really good... Christmas specials aren't always the greatest, are they? It's kind of an excuse to do a one-off episode. I think this is really good. I actually think this is better than any of the Sister Boniface stuff I've previously seen. So if you're in the mood for a bit of a Christmas whodunit, it's got some great guest cast as well. You've got Timothy West makes an appearance at the beginning. You've got Siobhan Redmond. It's really well done. It's feature length, and I think if you like Father Brown, if you like Sister Boniface, tune in, because it's a real Christmas treat. I enjoyed it. What did you think, Hannah?
It is fun, isn't it? It's action packed. I mean, there's drama at every turn. It just, when you think things can't get worse, they just do. I think you're right, though. I think it is. Even though kind of all the subject matter is not very Christmassy, somehow this Christmas special absolutely feels, I suppose the weather and it being cold and icy and all those evokes all those emotions. But I'm a bit of a fan anyway, but this doesn't disappoint. And I think it will absolutely get you into the festive spirit if you're not already.
Agreed. Well, we're going to finish on ITV1 and ITVX with a new drama series which arrives on New Year's Day. It's called Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. And here's a clip.
The computer system Post Office spent an arm and a leg on is faulty. No one else has ever reported any problems with Horizon. No one.
You're responsible for the loss.
I haven't got that money, and I don't know where it's gone.
These deficits were most likely caused by you. That is the post office case.
I've often heard about this, the post office scandal, and to be honest with you, and ignorantly, I didn't know huge amounts about it. I kind of knew bits and pieces, and it's incredibly gripping. This story. It's on New Year's Day, and I think it's sort of I don't know about new year, new me, new learnings. I don't know. I feel like this is the year this has to run, because I think this is the year that any kind of what's it called? Compensation. Sorry. This is the year that any compensation that these people can get, I think, it finishes. So it's really important this story gets out, and I think that it will be of interest to so many people, particularly like me, who didn't really truly understand exactly what's gone on. So it's the post office scandal. It's completely exposed for what it really is, and also the real people's lives who suffered when they were wrongly accused of the theft and the fraud, and really it was nothing to do with them. Some people were put in prison, and other people's lives were just completely destroyed because of everything that they had been accused of. And this is kind of the story of one man who decided to stand up and fight it and say, this isn't good enough, this isn't right, and I want justice. So it's more, it has a real community feel, which I think going into the new year is what people want. We kind of, with fresh hopes for 2024, I suppose it kind of taps into that want for community and everybody to rally around, and for good to come out on top. And it certainly has that vibe. But for me, knowing the pain that was caused to these families who are wrongly accused is absolutely awful. The main star of the show, his wife is played by Julie Hesmondhalgh. I think that's how you say her name. And those of you who are a fan will remember her in Coronation Street and so many other performances before and since. And I think she's absolutely brilliant. And she plays this really well. And you can see them shouting at the television, getting really cross at kind of misreporting not even misreporting, actually, that's not fair. Interviews being done by people in power, saying things that you sort of are not necessarily accurate, but completely tone deaf. I found it incredibly interesting. It was a real eye-opener. And I really do hope that justice is given for those people that suffered, and that the compensation, no matter how big of the gain in terms of finances, will never really fill the hole and the destruction that it caused in the first place. But incredibly interesting, and a real sense of community spirit and people coming together. Did you enjoy it, Ian?
I really enjoyed it, and it stars Toby Jones as Mr. Bates from the title, and I would watch anything that he is in because he is absolutely reliably good. He's great in this, and I just watched it with a tremendous... I did know a fair amount about this story. I think there's been a podcast series about it. There was a radio series about it. It's an absolute scandal. Scandalous the way the post office treated these people. So yeah, you've got Jones, as you say, you've got Julie Hesmondhalgh as his partner, you've got Monica Dolan, you've got Will Mellor, you've got Catherine Kelly. It's got a terrific cast, and it's very, very moving because these are people who ran local post offices who were absolutely shafted by their employers, who said they were stealing money, when in fact what was happening was the new computer system was going wrong. And the post office was saying to these poor people who were taken to court and forced to pay back what they were said that they'd stolen. They were saying to each of them, "It's only you. This isn't happening to anyone else," which was a lie. So it's a powerful story, a story that has to be told. And as you say, it's still ongoing. These people haven't been properly compensated. It's scandalous, but it is really, really well done. Now, Hannah, because it's our big Christmas double pod, we're going to do a little roundup of the other things that are on this Christmas. And, well, of course, you've got, as ever, you've got Doctor Who on Christmas Day. on BBC One. And we've got our favourite from Sex Education, How We Love Him, and Kuti Gatwa as the new Doctor. So although I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, I will certainly be tuning in to watch him because I think he is superb. We've said goodbye to Ghosts, but lucky for us, there's a Ghosts Christmas special on Christmas Day on BBC One, starring the wonderful Charlotte Ritchie. So I will be tuning into that. Christmas, of course, great mate. It's a time where you want to watch some cracking movies, and on the streaming platforms, well, there's a good selection, as well as on terrestrial. So on terrestrial, you've got Toy Story 4, that's the biggie for Christmas Day on BBC One. You can watch Titanic yet again, if you feel so inclined, on Film 4 on Christmas Day. Maestro, the Bradley Cooper biopic of Leonard Bernstein, the composer, co-starring Kerry Mulligan. Well, you can watch that on Netflix from Wednesday the 20th of December. You can watch Saltburn, another film that's been out in the cinemas and has been highly recommended. I've not seen it, but I will watch it. It's been described as like Brideshead meets The Talented Mr. Ripley. That is available on Prime Video from Friday the 22nd of December. So yeah, there's lots of good stuff. It used to be the case that satellite TV, as it used to be called, didn't really do much at Christmas, and it was all about the terrestrials. But now there's so much good stuff coming out on streaming platforms to occupy the whole family over Christmas. Anything that you're particularly looking forward to, or you're particularly going to avoid, Hannah? What do you say?
No, not really. I shouldn't really say this, but actually Christmas for us is a time where we kind of will watch just big films, but not necessarily kind of, everyone sits around with a kind of belly full basically, and you want to watch something that kind of appeals to absolutely everybody. So for me, it'll be kind of real middle of the road stuff that I'll be looking for over Christmas. Nothing that's going to get the heart racing for some of the older members of the family, I should say. So yeah, for me, Christmas is about that, just easy viewing. But there is quite a lot to watch, isn't there, this year? It's quite nice to see, because you say normally look at the kind of the listings, you think, oh, yeah, I'm used to that. Yeah, same old. It doesn't feel like that this year.
I agree. And if you do want something a bit controversial, Netflix are offering on Christmas Day the new Ricky Gervais stand-up special, which is called Armageddon. I'm sure that will ruffle a few feathers. Now, we've got to that time, Hannah, where we find out, what have you been binging on over the past 7 days?
Well, to be honest with you, I had obviously the Strictly final was a biggie. Had to tune into that. That was absolutely great. Probably one of the best finals we've ever seen. So absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that. And I've been rapping. I'm trying to be organised. Rapping. So in the background, I've just had a series of really trashy Christmas movies. Not one could I tell you to go and definitely watch. But if you tune in to Sky or to Netflix, there's a lot hanging around in there, and they don't disappoint.
Big time. And in fact, even before we recorded today, Hannah, I was tuning into what I think is a Christmas movie. I'm putting it out there. One of the greatest, Bridget Jones's Diary. Which is a perennial favourite. And I did watch, it was something that we wanted to preview last week, but yet again, we didn't get a screener. Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget on Netflix. Gotta say, it's not nearly as good as the original Chicken Run, but it's okay. It's, the kids will probably enjoy it. But yeah, it's certainly, I would say, disappointing from the high standards that Aardman have set. Anyway.
That's such a shame, isn't it? Because so many people are really waiting for that. I'll tell you what I did, what has made a comeback in our house is The Holiday.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Very Christmassy.
All right. Well, we've just got time before we bid everyone a very Merry Christmas to look ahead to what we'll be talking about in the first Bingewatch podcast of 2024, Hannah. So as well as revealing our new year resolutions, what will we be talking about?
Well, Schitt's Creek's Dan Levy writes, directs and stars, wow, in Good Grief, a comedy drama about a man coping with the death of his husband, played by Luke Evans.
What a talented family. Yes, I've just finally kind of started getting into Schitt's Creek, and it is very, very good, belatedly. Anyway, also another of our favourites, the lovely James May from the Grand Tour. Well, he's off on his travels once more, but without the hamster and Jeremy Clarkson, in James May, Our Man in India on Prime Video. So yes, we'll be talking about those and much, much more, and looking ahead to what treats we will be watching over the course of the year. But in the meantime, listeners, we'd just like to wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and in the meantime,